Neighbor complained to the HOA about my yard. So, I have a Karen for a neighbor. She's a grumpy old C with a live-in son in his 40s and no other family or friends. And when I say she's a Karen, we're talking to the point that she came into my property to yell at our landscaper about a boulder he was installing on our property. Something about believing it would fall over onto more of our property. A few months after we moved in, we receive a letter trying the HOA saying they'd received complaints and asking that we make sure we're mowing, watering, and maintaining. I chalked it up to moving into a nicer neighborhood and made an effort to mow twice a week instead of my normal once. Added a little time to the sprinklers and figured all was good. Apparently it was not all good, as we received another letter stating the complaints had continued and the HOA wanted to talk with us to see what the problem was. I should note, we had just moved in not that long ago and hadn't landscaped the back yet, so we're letting our dogs pee on the front at night, which lead to the inevitable patches of bright green grass that grow stupid fast now all freely. Admit I don't keep my yard to the level of some of my neighbors, but it was in perfectly good shape outside some green spots in an otherwise average-looking yard. And I do my best to keep things mowed and looking decent. Turns our grumpy C had taken real offense to this and started complaining to the HOA. The hearing ended up being mostly incoherent rambling, but the bottom line was she didn't like how our lawn looked with the green spots. While the HOA agreed this was not her business and definitely not theirs, I decided she was right and we should stop letting our dogs out in the front to pee, as I also don't like the green spots. Now, I put them on the leash and let them do their business in her yard. Read. Tree lawn. And I'm clearly not the only one, as her entire yard is now covered in pee spots and dead spots on her actual lawn, which my dogs don't step for on. I'm pretty sure she's complained about everyone with a dog, and now the entire neighborhood takes their dogs to her yard. The best part, she actually does a shit job taking care of her lawn. Weeds and crabgrass everywhere. She just waters it almost non-stop. So today I got to report her to the HOA for her yard looking like total shit. If it were any other house, there are much worse, I wouldn't care at all. But this lady wanted lawns without spots, so I'm just doing my part to enforce her rules. I could not imagine getting to a point in my life where I gave the slightest fuck about how someone else's grass looked. People like her need a different hobby. These HOA things sound mental. I've heard so many crazy stories about them and am glad we don't have them in the UK. I think I'd end up killing someone for telling me how I have to have my own property that I pay for. This shit is why I made sure to not buy a house with an HOA. Mowing 2x per week. I get mine done every 2 weeks and it is a little shaggy by then. But I would consider that to be the normal mowing cadence for the majority of yards in my area. HOAs sound like absolute horseshit. It's my property which I bought and own, so I should be able to do what I want with it. Within reason, obviously. I somewhat understand if it's a shared building, but I live in a block of apartments, and as long as we don't change the external windows or doors, the maintenance company don't give a shit what else we do. Some people have decorative rocks outside their doors. Some have small potted plants or hanging baskets, and I have a bench. If I owned a detached house, then there's nothing I have to adhere to other than planning permission. Am I the idiot? My house runs alongside an access alley. I weed my side of the alley regularly, since if I leave it a week or two, then I have about a meter of weeds against the side of my house. None of the 20 neighbors whose properties back onto the alley bother to maintain their boundaries, and hence the alley is a meter or so narrower than it should be. This means that when vehicles access the alley they maneuver as close as possible to my house. Do you think if I cultivate a particularly tough and scratchy piece of vegetation they will swap sides? Can anyone recommend a plant? One that does not damage foundations, brickwork etc., but is resilient enough to deter trucks and vans? I'm failing to see the malicious compliance in this story. See, as someone from the UK, I find this whole HOA stuff utterly insane. Just a tip. A natural way to repair yellow spots in the grass caused by the dog's urine is to dissolve a cup of baking soda in a gallon of water and pour on the affected area. The baking soda neutralizes the high nitrogen concentration, and it will also deodorize the area so the dog won't recognize the spot and go there again. Keep a notebook on when you mow, water and so on. If you can show a continuous cycle of this, it shows that you take care of it. I hate mowing the lawn, so I went to my local buy-sell page, bought an older robot mower, paid about $100 for it. Have had that running for 3 years now. 3 times per week. Look into that. And forget about mowing at all. Since when does dog urine turn grass green? We also have a next-door Karen. Our home is currently under construction. Never even met our 71-year-old next-door neighbor. But so far she's complained incessantly to the HOA about the construction noise. Accused the Hispanic roofing crew of making her uncomfortable, simply for standing on the roof, doing their jobs, and come onto our property with a gun to threaten the workers. She took pictures of a work truck entering the site 5 minutes before the permitted time, which resulted in us getting fined $250 by the HOA. Dumb BTCH has made our lives miserable for months and we haven't even moved in yet. Can't wait to report her stupid yippy dog to animal control. Frankly, if I had a kid in his 40s still living with me, I'd be grumpy too. You have become the Karen. As an Aussie who doesn't really understand HOAs, what are the consequences of telling them to go fuck themselves? These HOAs are the best representation of America. You can do whatever you want until someone else thinks it costs them money in the long run. Our neighbor has reported us to the actual police department for water stains in the public alley. God help us all. You mow twice a week? Yikes. I own a rental house. Working class neighborhood. Big red oaks in everyone's front yard. Too shady. So everyone's lawn is dead. I scraped mine out. Replaced with rocks, stones, mulch, native plants. It's literally the best looking yard in the subdivision. My HOA wants me to remove everything. Because I didn't seek permission first, we've been going round about it for over a year now. I'm not scraping it out. HOA ACC committees are not rational. Northview, Willow West HOA. I'm ready to pay a lawyer. Are you? Mow twice a week. Mow once a week. Here I am. Mowing bi-monthly. Every second month, not twice a month.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.